Friday just past midnight, she arrives before the band, orders bourbon, lights a cigarette, never wears a wedding band, sits alone at table 9, where the shadows hide her face, like she's waiting for somebody who got lost without a trace. And nobody knows her story, nobody knows her name, but every week she comes back here and orders the same old pain. The bass keeps walking through the darkness, the guitar lets the blue notes shine, and all night long I'm wondering about the woman at table 9. Tonight I finally asked the bartender, who is she waiting for? He said, friend, that's not a question, you should ask around here no more. Then he poured another whiskey and stared somewhere past the room, like he'd seen too many answers, and beneath the midnight moon. And nobody knows her story, nobody knows her name, but every week she comes back here and orders the same old pain. The band keeps playing soft and lonely, like they're reading every sign, and all night long I'm wondering about the woman at table 9. Near closing time she left a photograph beside a glass half full of wine, a smiling man in army colors, dated 1979. Rises through the silence, then falls like rain against the night. Now everybody knows the story, though nobody says her name. She's been keeping one old promise while the whole world moved away. The bass rolls on, the years roll on, but some hearts never change with time. So here's to love that never left, and the woman at table 9. Next Friday, when the clock strikes midnight, table 9 is waiting, just in case he finally comes home. The station clock says midnight. The platform's cold and painted blue. A train rolls through this little town, but it ain't stopping for me and you. The porter sweeps the empty benches. The night hangs heavy in the air. I've got a ticket in my pocket and nowhere left worth getting there. The last train doesn't stop here anymore. It just blows smoke across the dock. Some chances leave without a warning. Some dreams leave without a mark. The last train doesn't stop here anymore. That's just how the story goes. You learn to wave at passing headlights and let them go. A guitar cries from the lounge across the street. The bass rolls low beneath the rain. A woman dances with a stranger like she never knew my name. I light a cigarette and watch her laughing like she finally found the door. I guess some people are destinations, and some are just the road before. The last train doesn't stop here anymore. Just blows smoke across the dark. Oh, some chances leave without a warning. Some dreams leave without a mark. Funny thing about moving on, nobody tells you. It sounds a lot like a train getting smaller in the distance. Whoa, one long bend fading into the night. Oh, the last train doesn't stop here anymore. But I don't chase it like before. Oh, the night is wide, the blues play on, and I've survived worse than this before. station goes quiet, I finish my drink and stay right where I am.
The clock struck 1, the city turned quieter. The rich folks disappeared behind locked doors. The band played low beneath the amber lightning, like they'd played 1,000 lonely nights before. I took my seat beside the window corner, where the rain wrote little rivers on the glass. The bartender slid over my usual bourbon without a word, without a question asked. That's when the night shift started showing up, the people daylight never gets to see. A cab driver carrying fresh regrets, a gambler owing more than he could be, a waitress with tired eyes and brave lipstick, a preacher hiding doubts beneath his tie. All of us pretending we were strangers, all of us carrying something we couldn't hide. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts, where the blues clock in and never leave, where every smile has a crack beneath it, and every soul has something up its sleeve. The bass rolls slow, the guitar whispers, like old friends telling painful truths in the dark. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts. Near 2 o'clock a woman took the piano seat, though nobody remembered seeing her arrive. She played a melody that sounded familiar, like a dream I'd somehow survived. The room grew still except for the heartbeat rhythm of kick drum echoes beneath the floor, and every face turned toward the music, like we'd all been waiting for something more. Then the cab driver started crying softly, the gambler stared down at his shaking hands, the preacher closed his eyes and stopped pretending, the waitress finally let her makeup run. Nobody laughed, nobody looked away, because pain recognizes pain, and sometimes that's enough. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts, where the blues clock in and never leave, where every scar gets treated like a story, and every wound gets room enough to breathe. The snare hits hard, the bass keeps walking, the guitar bends notes like sparks in the dark. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts. The woman finished playing, stood up, and headed for the door. I followed her outside just long enough to ask, "Do you come here often?" She smiled, said no. when somebody needs that song, and disappeared into the rain.
Hanging beneath the streetlights, deep bands floating through midnight fog, a conversation between memory and mercy, without a single word spoken. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts, where the lonely come to heal unseen, where the darkness isn't something feared, it's just the space between the dreams. The bass rolls on, the city sleeps, the band keeps guarding the fragile sparks. Welcome to the night shift for broken hearts. You're among friends here after dark. 3 o'clock, the chairs go up, the lights come down, the last note fades into silence, and one by one, the broken hearts head home. A little heavier, a little lighter, and somehow still alive. Still alive. Still alive.
I wear my best black suit tonight, pressed clean, shining in the light. But underneath this gentleman's smile, there's 1,000 miles of trial. The bass rolls low, the whiskey burns, the clock keeps turning, never learns. Every scar beneath my skin still remembers where I've been. I've got a suit full of regrets, hanging where my heart should be, a pocket full of old goodbyes, and ghosts that won't leave me. I look like I own the night, but the night still owns me, yeah. I've got a suit full of regrets. A slow guitar cries through the smoke, like every promise that I broke. A woman laughs across the room, gone too soon, gone too soon. I've got got a suit full of regrets, hanging where my heart should be. A pocket full of old goodbyes and ghosts that won't leave me. I look like I own the night, but the night still owns me, yeah. I've got a suit full of regrets, but maybe every gentleman is just a sinner dressed his best. I've got a suit full of regrets, but I'm still standing here somehow. The blues ain't gone, the pain ain't gone, but they don't own me now. The band plays one last midnight song as the neon fades to black, and I leave a little lighter than the man who walked in back. Walked into the club with a lucky silver dollar. Been carrying it around since I was 17. Won 100 bets, survived 100 bad nights, kept me somewhere in between. Then she sat down laughing like she owned the jukebox, like the whole room was a stage. She spun that coin across her fingers and said, "Mind if I borrow your luck for a day?" The bass got low, the lights got dim. She flashed that smile, and I was done for then. She's got my lucky dollar, and I want it back. Well, maybe not the dollar, just the woman who took that. She stole my luck, she stole my cool, she stole my last good alibi. She's got my lucky dollar, and my heart along for the ride. Every Friday she'd come dancing through the doorway, flip that silver coin up in the air. Hid she'd stay and drink till closing time, till she'd disappear somewhere. The whole band knew her name by then, the bartender knew it too. But every time I'd ask where she was headed, she'd say somewhere luck can't follow you. She's got my lucky dollar, and I want it back. Well, maybe not the dollar, just the woman who took that. She stole my luck, she stole my cool, she stole my last good alibi. cheek and walked away before I could answer a single word. Oh, sweet slow bed, oh, then another, like a smile disappearing in the smoke. She's got my lucky dollar. At least that's what I still pretend, 'cause the coin's right here beside me. But she ain't coming back again. She stole my luck, she stole my blues, she stole every reason to hide. She's got my lucky dollar, and somehow I'm still glad she took the ride. The bass rolls on, the lights burn low, and every time I flip that coin, I hope it lands on her. There's a photograph above the bar, been hanging there for years. A man in a sharp black suit with a grin from ear to ear. Nobody talks about him much, nobody knows the whole story. But every Friday night at midnight, someone buys his drink. Who was the man in the photograph? What kind of life did he leave behind? A gambler, a saint, a runaway king? Depends on who you ask that night. The band plays low, the whiskey pours, the rumors never stop. Everybody's got a story about the man in the photograph. An old waitress says he owned the building. A drummer swears he robbed a bank. The bartender just keeps smiling and never says who's right. The guitar band's a lonely answer. The bass keeps walking through the dark. Sometimes mystery lives longer than the truth ever could. Who was the man in the photograph? What kind of life did he leave behind? A lover, a fighter, a man on the run? Depends on who you ask that night. Near closing time, I finally asked, which story is the real one? The bartender laughed and said, all of them. One long note floating in the smoke. One long note after the last call. The lights go down, the photo stays, watching over another midnight. Every store on Main Street closed at midnight, except one at the end of the block. A pawn shop glowing through the darkness, like a lighthouse built for the lost. I'd see old dreamers walking in there with guitars, watches, wedding rings, trading pieces of their stories for a little breathing room. There's a light in the pawn shop window, burning when the world shuts down, where broken plans and hard times meet on the edge of town. The light in the pawn shop window knows every bluesman by his name, 'cause every man who's lived long enough has pawned something he couldn't save. One night I saw an old boxer standing, holding a trophy in his hands. He stared at it for one long minute, then slid across the counterman. The bass rolled low behind the silence, the guitar answered soft and slow. Some losses don't sound like thunder, they sound like letting go. There's a light in the pawn shop window, burning when the world shuts down, where broken plans and hard times meet on the edge of town. The owner never asked questions, he just nodded, like he'd heard every story before. One long bend, floating through the smoke, like a memory refusing to leave. There's a light in the pawn shop window, still shining after all these years, for the fighters, lovers, gamblers, and the souvenirs. That light in the pawn shop window ain't selling hope or taking blame, just holding on to yesterday, till somebody comes back again. The street goes quiet, the sign still blows, and somewhere inside that little shop, another story changes hands. a tailor-made shadow cut in black. The bartender nodded, he already knew me, a man who never asked for nothing back. The room was full of quiet desperados, drowning all tomorrow's inexpensive wine. And every face was searching for salvation in the bottom of a glass or someone else's eyes. Then she appeared through the haze of the evening, like trouble wrapped in velvet and perfume. She carried all the grace of a fallen angel and all the danger of a loaded moon. She sat beside me, said, "You look familiar." I smiled and let the silence answer first, because the saddest men become good liars when they're trying to hide a lifelong thirst. I'm the king of empty rooms, the lord of broken memories. Every love I've ever touched turned into a haunting melody. And I wear this lonely crown like a gentleman of misery. I'm the king of empty rooms, but tonight your eyes are challenging me. The band played low, the bass line kept rolling like a long black Cadillac through the dark. My guitar cried somewhere in the distance, like a wounded animal with a faithful heart. She leaned closer than a prayer at midnight, said, "Tell me something honest before I leave." I laughed because the truth is such a dangerous thing for men who still have ghosts up their sleeves. So I told about the years I wasted chasing gold that turned to dust in my hands, about the woman who taught me how to love, then disappeared like footprints in the sand. She listened like the night listens to thunder, never judging all the wreckage I became. And for a moment I could almost remember how it felt before the world knew my name. I'm the king of empty rooms, the lord of broken memories. Every love I've ever touched turned into a haunting melody. And I wear this lonely crown like a gentleman of misery. I'm the king of empty rooms, but tonight your eyes are challenging me. Outside the rain was writing little obituaries across the windows of the sleeping town. Inside her hand found mine beneath the table, like she was pulling a lost man from the ground. The snare hit hard, the bass kept moving slowly, and every note hung heavy in the air. The kind of moment people spend a lifetime seeking, then spend forever wishing still was there. Rising from the darkness, long notes trembling like a final confession, every phrase answering the words we couldn't say. I'm the king of empty rooms, but kingdoms fall when hearts remember. One touch can set fire to a winner that survived 100 Decembers. And this lonely crown I wore suddenly feels lighter than before. I'm the king of empty
Maybe I don't belong there anymore. Last call echoed through the private club. She stood and pulled her coat around the night, then kissed my cheek and vanished with the dawn, leaving behind her perfume and a reason to believe that even the darkest blues can still find the light.
Last Tuesday night I met the devil downtown, not the kind they preach about in church on Sundays. No horns, no fire, no kingdom underground, just a sharp black suit and a smile that never stayed. He was sitting in my chair at the corner table, drinking bourbon that he hadn't paid for yet. Said, "I've been looking for you, gentlemen." I said, "Funny, I've been trying to forget." The bass rolled low like distant thunder. The bartender suddenly looked away. The whole room felt a little colder, like the night itself had something to say. He lit a cigarette and leaned back laughing as the smoke curled slowly through the light. Said, "You survived things that would have buried most men. I guess that's why I'm here tonight. The devil owes me a favor. That's a dangerous debt to collect. I've walked through hell so many times. Even the flames show me respect. I don't need gold, I don't need glory. I've already paid my dues. The devil owes me a favor, and I'm spending it on the truth. He said, "Remember Memphis in '99, that motel room and the loaded gun?" I nodded slow and stared into my whiskey, thinking of the man I used to run from. He said, "I was there when you chose mercy instead of giving hate another scar. Most men would have chosen vengeance. You chose to leave and drive into the dark." The guitar answered with a lonely moan, a long blue note hanging over the room like a ghost refusing to surrender to the silence waiting beyond the tomb. The devil smiled and shook his head. "That's the day you cost me a soul. Been trying to square the books ever since, but gentlemen make terrible fools. The devil owes me a favor. That's a dangerous debt to collect. I've walked through hell so many times. Even the flames show me respect. I don't need gold, I don't need glory. I've already paid my dues. The devil owes me a favor, and I'm spending it on the truth. Outside, the city kept pretending that everybody knew where they belonged. Inside, the drums kept steady time, like an old judge deciding right from wrong. I thought about every broken promise, every night I barely made it through. Then I looked across the table and said, "Tell me something. Does mercy ever come back to you?" The devil laughed so hard the glasses rattled. And for the first time all night, he looked afraid. Slow bends climbing upward, deep vibrato shaking the walls. Every note carrying years of regret and something that sounded a little like redemption. The devil owes me a favor, but maybe I don't need it now. Some debts are better left unpaid. Some victories don't need a crown. I've got scars, I've got stories, I've got blues enough to last a lifetime. The devil owes me a favor, but I already found what's mine. He vanished before the last call ended, leaving his drink untouched at the bar. The bartender asked who I'd been talking to. I smiled, finished my bourbon, and watched the neon fade into the dawn. Knowing some men fear the devil, and some men meet him, then leave him wondering what went wrong. Last Thursday down in Murphy's Lounge, they held an auction after dark. Old guitars, broken jukeboxes, and a few forgotten works of art. I was sipping bourbon in the corner when the auctioneer caught my eye. It's the next item on the table, a heart that's been through too much life. The night they auctioned my heart, the bidding started way too low. One woman offered a memory, another offered letting go. The night they auctioned my heart, the room got quiet from the start, 'cause everybody recognized a piece of their own in my heart. A gambler bid a lucky silver dollar, a boxer bid his champion ring, a singer offered one sad melody that could still make angels weep. The bass rolled low beneath the laughter, the guitar answered every line. Nobody wanted to own the thing, they just wanted to say they tried. The night they auctioned my heart, the bidding climbed like smoking wine. One old man bid his last regret and nearly made the thing his prize. The night they auctioned my heart, every offer left a mark. 'cause everybody pays in something when they're buying broken hearts. Then a woman in a black silk jacket raised her hand from table 3. She said, "I'll offer peace." And suddenly nobody bid against her. One slow bend floating through the room like surrender, finally arriving. The night they auctioned my heart, she won without spending a dime, 'cause peace was worth more than money and rarer than love sometimes. The night they auctioned my heart, I watched her walk out with a prize. And for the first time in years, I didn't want it back. The auction ended, the lights came up, the band played one last blues, and somewhere out in the night, a lighter man walked home. Down in a cellar beneath the avenue, there's a little black door that only a few get through. No music outside, no sign overhead, just a whisper in town and a trail of regret. A man at the counter with a silver pen asked me what I wanted to know back then. I said, "What's waiting at the end of my road?" He said, "That answer comes with a heavy load." Then he slid a contract across the table and quietly spoke. 1 year for the truth, that's the price tonight. 1 year from your life for a single life. The bass rolled deep, the shadows leaned in, while the snare hit hard through the cigarette dim. 1 year for the truth, no refunds, no lies, just a glimpse of tomorrow in exchange for time. Watched a young boxer sign away to learn if his title dream would come true. A woman gave 5 just to finally see if the man she'd been waiting for would ever leave. The room stayed still as the clock ticked slow. Everybody paying to know what they don't know. I held that pen, but my hand wouldn't move. Some doors ain't meant to be pushed through. 1 year for the truth, that's the prize tonight. 1 year from your life for a single life. The bass rolled deep, the shadows leaned in, while the snare hit hard through the cigarette dim. 1 year for the truth. No refunds, no lies, just a glimpse of tomorrow in exchange for time. Then an old man laughed from the corner booth, said, "Son, the mystery is the best part of youth." He raised his glass and tipped his hat, knowing everything, he don't want that. You don't want that. Maybe that's too much, 'cause some things are sweeter when you never know enough. The contract remained unsigned as I walk back into the rain, and somewhere behind me the door clicks shut. Click shut. Every city has a rumor. This one at room 929, a suite at the top of the Crescent Hotel that never appeared online. No key on the rack, no number on the map, no record of who checked in. But if life had backed you into a corner, they said the room might have let you in. One rainy night, with nowhere to run, I found the elevator waiting. Room 909. At the end of a long dark hall, the bass rolled deep, the snare hit hard like a fist against the wall. Room 909, where every guest gets one chance to trade one truth for one regret and rewrite circumstance. The door swung open by itself. No concierge, no bell, just a mahogany desk and a man dressed sharp as hell. He poured 2 glasses of bourbon neat and slid one across the grain. Said, "Tell me the moment you'd erase." I spoke her name. He nodded once, like he'd heard it all before. Room 909. At gets one chance to trade one truth for one regret and rewrite circumstance. Then he opened a silver case. Inside was the night she left. The exact words, the exact rain, the exact look I'll never forget. My hand reached out, then stopped halfway as the roads held one long chord. Because if I erase the heartbreak, I'd erase everything it taught. Sometimes late at night, when the streets shine with rain, I look up at the Crescent Hotel and count the windows. 1, 2, 3, 8, then nothing. Because room 909 only appears when you need it. She walked in right when the thunder rolled. Black silk dress, eyes dark as coal. The room got quiet, the glasses froze. Even the band played softer notes. She took a seat where the shadows lay, like she owned every night and day. Ordered bourbon, neat and plain. 5 minutes later came the rain. Now I don't believe in magic tricks, but some people make you wonder. She ordered the rain and the sky obeyed. Every streetlight blurred, every card got played. The bass rolled low, the window pane cried, and something old woke up inside. She ordered the rain and I couldn't explain why a stranger smile could feel like a train coming straight through years of stone, leaving a gentleman alone. She said, "You look like a man who's tired." I said, "Only of small desires." She laughed and spun her empty glass like she already knew my past. Then she asked if I looked outside at the storm again and said, sometimes. She ordered the rain and the sky obeyed. Every streetlight blurred, every card got played. The bass rolled low, the window pane cried, and something old woke up inside. She ordered the rain and I couldn't explain why a stranger's smile could feel like a train coming straight through years of stone, leaving a gentleman alone. The night got older, the crowd got thin, the band kept swaying like a slow confession. Then she stood up, buttoned her coat, and left me with words she never spoke. She ordered the rain, that's all I know. Some people arrive just to leave you changed. Now every time the dark clouds roll, I hear her name in the thunder soul. The bartender asked, was she real? I smiled and paid the bill. At the corner of Mercy and Fifth Avenue, there's a bank that opens when the day is through. No money inside, no gold to defend, just vaults full of moments people want back again. A woman in diamonds came through the door, said, I'd like to withdraw the summer of '84. A businessman asked for a Saturday night before he traded his family for a higher life. Then the teller looked at me and asked, what would you like return? Welcome to the Midnight Bank, where memories earn interest in the dark. The bass rolls deep, the snare hits hard, like a heartbeat under scars. Some come for love, some come for youth, some come searching for the missing truth. At the Midnight Bank, everybody owes something. I said, show me the road I didn't take, the Taylor nodded and unlocked a safe. Inside was a key with my name engraved and a photograph from another age. There I was on a stage downtown, singing to a sold-out crowd, living a life I'd left behind for reasons I can't recall now. The room got quiet, the clock slowed down as that old dream came around. Welcome to the midnight bank, where memories earn interest in the dark. The bass rolls deep, the snare hits hard, like a heartbeat on the scar. Some come for love, some come for you, some come searching for the missing truth. At the midnight bank, everybody owes something. He had something money couldn't buy. And what they used to feel. I left my dream inside that vault and walked back into the rain. 'Cause maybe the life I never lived isn't the one I'm meant to claim. The teller locked the doors at dawn. The city woke the magic on. But somewhere beneath those quiet streets, the midnight bank still keeps receipts.
I took a job on the graveyard shift at a hotel nobody talked about. The pay was good, the rules were strange. Don't ask the guest what they're here about. The lobby clock never moved an inch, always stuck at 2:13. The bell rang soft around midnight for people nobody else could see. The manager said, just hand them their keys, don't read the names.
I worked the night shift for the dead, checking in memories instead. The bass rolled low, the snare cracked hard like footsteps through the dark. Some came smiling, some came broke, some carried dreams that went up in smoke. On the night shift for the dead, where yesterday never leaves. golden voice, looking for applause that came and went. Then one rainy night the bell rang twice, and a woman stepped through the door. She looked at me and my blood ran cold. I'd seen her face before. She slid a photograph across the desk. It was me, 30 years older. I worked the night shift for the dead, checking in memories instead. The bass rolled low, the snare cracked hard like footsteps through the dark. Some came smiling, some came broke, some carried dreams that went up in smoke. On the night shift for the dead, where yesterday never leaves. I said, "Why are you here?" She whispered low to deliver a message. I asked, "From who?" She said, "From yourself." The room went silent, the ropes held one long cord as she handed me an envelope marked, "Before it's too late." I quit the night shift for the dead before dawn painted the sky blood red. The bass rolled on, the city woke, while the first train coughed its smoke. I opened the letter, there were only 3 words, nothing more to read. 3 simple words that changed my life. Call your brother. Every year on that same date, I drive past the hotel gate, but there's no building there, no sign, no street, just an empty lot and a memory. The clock struck 12 in the private room. Smoke curled slow beneath the moon. A bass line rolled across the floor, like it had walked this path before. I wore my best black suit tonight, not for glory, not for pride, just another gentleman passing through the kind of city never knew. Welcome to the midnight membership, where hearts wear scars like tailor-made suits. No one asks where you've been before, no one locks the memories out. Raise your glass, let the darkness talk, let the old regrets take a walk. We all pay dues in one way or another in the midnight membership. A woman sat beneath the gold lamp glow, eyes full of places I don't know. She smiled once, then looked away, like she carried yesterday. The band played low, the room stayed still. Rose chords drifting over the thrill. Everybody hiding something deep. Everybody losing sleep. Welcome to the midnight membership, where hearts wear scars like tailor-made suits. No one asks where you've been before. No one locks the memories out. Raise your glass, let the darkness talk. Let the old regrets take a walk. We all pay dues in one way or another in the midnight membership. I learned a long time ago, the strongest men don't always win. Sometimes they simply learn how to live with what could have been. Where broken dreams still dress in style, where lonely souls share silent toast and stay a little while. Raise your glass, let the darkness talk. Let the old regrets take a walk. We all pay dues in one way or another in the midnight membership. The lights burn low, the night grows thin. Another story walks right in, and the blues keeps playing again. Every Friday night at 10:30, the city gathered round him again. A small round table, a single chair, smoke in the shadows, tension in the air. No magic tricks, no crystal ball, no bodyguard standing tall. Just an old man wearing a black necktie, selling answers nobody liked. For $20, you could ask one thing, but he'd only tell the truth. He was the last honest man in a town built on disguise. The bass rolled deep, the snare cut sharp, like truth between the lines. People came rich, people came poor, looking for what they couldn't ignore. At the table of the last honest man, nobody left unchanged. A politician asked, do they still believe The old man said less every week. A gambler asked, will my luck hold out? The old man laughed, it's already running out. Then a woman asked, does he love me still? The room went silent, the band stood still. The old man lowered his eyes and didn't answer right away. He was the last honest man in a town built on disguise. The bass rolled deep, the snare cut sharp, like truth between the lies. People came rich, people came poor, looking for what they couldn't ignore. At the table of the last honest man, nobody left unchanged. Near closing time, I took my seat. Laid $20 on the table and asked, was my life worth the cost? He looked at me for a long, long while, then smiled. Didn't feel so heavy anymore. The next Friday, the chair sat empty. The old man never came back. But every now and then, when the night gets quiet, I still hear his answer between the kick drum and the blues. On a narrow street where the neon fades, I fix old clocks while the city sways. Gold pocket watches, silver hands, tiny broken kingdoms in my hands. People bring me time that lost its way, weddings, wars, and yesterday. I wind the gears and listen close. Every ticking heart has ghosts. Some men count money, some men count scars. Me, I count the hours left in the dark. After midnight, I repair time, one small second at a time. The bass rolls low, the the city sleeps, while old regrets wake beneath the streets. And every watch that starts again sounds like forgiveness to a tired old man. After midnight, beneath the blue, I fix what time forgets to do. The young boy came with his grandfather's watch, said it stopped the day we lost him, sir. I held that brass beneath the light, like holding someone's final night. Took me an hour, maybe two, a little oil, a patient screw. Then suddenly the old thing spoke, tick, tick, like a sleeping memory woke. After midnight I repair time, one small second at a time. The bass rolls low, the city sleeps, while old regrets wake beneath the streets. And every watch that starts again sounds like forgiveness to a tired old man. After midnight, beneath the blue, I fix what time forgets to do. Maybe that's why I never close this shop. Maybe I'm still trying to fix one clock that stopped inside myself long ago. The first train hums, the dawn turns gold. Another story bought and sold. I lock the door, I dim the light, and leave the clocks to guard the night. After midnight, that's what I do. A gentleman with time to lose. It was midnight when it took the empty chair. Black coat, silver lighter, cold smoke in the air. Never said hello, never asked my name, just stared at his whiskey like he knew my game. Then he slid a photograph across the bar, a picture of me standing beside a car. The date on the back read 10 years ahead. I looked at the stranger and said, "Explain." He smiled real slow, like a man I didn't. He was a stranger who knew my future like he'd already seen the end. He knew the roads I'd walk tomorrow and the lies I'd tell my friends. The bass rolled deep, the room turned small, the shadows climbed the wall, and every word he spoke that night felt too true to ignore. He said, you'll leave this city in the fall. Said you'll finally answer that one missed call. Said you'll lose some things you can't replace. Then he stopped and stared into my face. I said, tell me something good instead. He laughed and shook his head. Good news never brings people here. That's not what they're paying for. He was a stranger who knew my future like he'd already seen the end. He knew the roads I'd walk tomorrow and the lies I'd tell my friends. The bass rolled deep, the room turned small, the shadows climbed the wall, and every word he spoke that night felt too true to ignore. Then he handed me one final page, folded tight with age. I opened it up and there I saw the date of this very night and one short line: leave now. Untouched, the room stood still. Nobody saw him, nobody remembered. A man in a black coat paying his bill. The rain came down, the neon blurred. The city hummed its lonely tune, and somewhere out there a stranger smiled, knowing I'd understand soon. Now every year this same night, I keep an empty chair beside me, just in case the future decides to stop by again. past a velvet rope and a stairway down. A crowd in black gathered after dark, trading old memories like pieces of art. A man sold the name that he used to know. A woman sold a summer from long ago. The auctioneer smiled beneath the light and said, "Tonight we leave the past behind." The room stayed quiet, the numbers climbed, everybody bidding on another line. At the auction of forgotten names, people came carrying secret flames, trying to buy a little peace, trying to make old echoes leave. The bass rolled deep, the shadows swayed, while yesterday was put on display. At the auction of forgotten names, nobody left quite the same. Then the auctioneer looked straight at me, said, "Sir, we've saved one specially, a dusted box with a silver tag, holding every chance I never had." The crowd leaned in, the room went still. I could have bought it with a signature and a bill, but some things are heavier when they return than when they simply burn. At the auction of forgotten names, people came carrying secret flames, trying to buy a little peace, trying to make old echoes leave. The bass rolled deep, the shadows swayed, while yesterday was put on display. At the auction of forgotten names, nobody left quite the same. I raised my hand, not to bid, but to close the lid. Some stories belong exactly where they live. Disappeared with the rain. The lights went out, the room turned blue, and the city swallowed every clue. The auctioneer tipped his hat as the last door closed behind, and I walked home carrying something new, my own name. For the very first time, the night grew quiet, the neon hummed, the blues rolled on, slow and low. Blue smoke hanging near the ceiling, like memories that never leave. Champagne women dressed in silver, laughing through their shattered dreams. I was posted by the bar light in a dark three-piece suit, trying hard to hide the damage under polished leather boots. Then you walked in cold as moonlight, diamond rings against your skin. Lord, the whole room stopped breathing when your eyes landed on him. And the bass rolled deep and steady, like a heartbeat full of sin, while every slow guitar whisper said, "Don't fall again, baby." You shine like danger underneath low light, pretty enough to start a midnight fight. And every low guitar cry tonight still tears my soul in two. Now this old blues lounge keeps burning with memories of you. There's a singer near the piano, dragging pain through every note. Old gangsters smoking silently with regrets beneath their coats. You danced slow beside that stranger, but kept staring back at me like a flame teasing gasoline, just to watch what it could be. Then you crossed the room so smoothly, whispered, "You still wear heartbreak well, God." Some words sound soft as heaven while dragging men through hell. Silver rivers across the avenue, inside every glass and shadow still belong to you. I should have left that moment, should have disappeared for good. But lonely men and dark blues nights never do what they should. Baby, you move like jazz and cigarette fire, sweet slow poison dressed in pure desire. And every final guitar moan tonight still echoes through the gloom, while blue smoke and diamond rings dancing through this room. Blue smoke, diamond rings, and the blue. champagne dying in silver ice, rich men laughing with tired women, everybody pretending they're alright. I was smoking near the piano, watching shadows cross the floor, when she walked in wearing white gloves, and every head turned toward the door. Black satin hanging from her shoulders, diamond cross against her skin. Lord, she looked like Sunday morning, raised somewhere deep in sin. She sat down smooth beside me, like she already knew my name, and smiled slow over her whiskey glass, and everything changed. Bass rolled heavy underneath us, like thunder dressed in gold, and every guitar whisper sounded dangerous and cold. Baby, you wore white gloves and bad intentions, slow blue eyes full of sweet deception, and every lonely guitar cry tonight still burns straight through my chest. Now this dark old lounge keeps shaking, like my heart won't rest. There's a boxer drinking quietly near the end of the long black bar, an actress crying in the bathroom, mascara running like Noir. The bartender keeps on pouring, like he's saving broken souls, while the drummer taps that backbeat, slow and low. You lean close enough to ruin me, perfume riches, burning roses, then whispered softly, good men always fall the hardest. Got a line like that at midnight, should come with a warning sign, 'cause lonely men and dark blues nights ain't built to survive. Rain painted silver rivers down the avenue. Inside your lipstick stained the crystal like blood against the blue. I should've walked away smiling, should've left before the fall, but some women ain't made for loving, they're made for ruining it all. Baby, you wore white gloves and bad intentions, slow heartbreak mixed with pure temptation, and every final guitar moan tonight still echoes through the gloom. Now your ghost keeps slow dancing in every darkened room. Bad intentions and the blues. like goodbyes for strangers down on Mercer Street, for lovers running out of reasons, for hearts accepting defeat. A businessman left me $20 to leave his old life behind. A soldier asked for one last letter for a love he couldn't find. The ink runs black beneath the lamp, the night rolls slow outside, and every page I finish leaves another soul untied. I've written 1,000 endings, maybe more than I can count. I'm the man who writes goodbyes. I put the last words in a line. I help the broken close the door and leave their pain behind. I'm the man who writes goodbyes, but here's the cruel design. I can write an ending for the world, but not for what's still mine. Like a coat she couldn't remove, she said, "Can you write the words that finally helped me move?" I handed her the finished letter. She cried and walked away. Funny how I save other people while my ghost decides to stay. The guitar weeps across the room like it understands the cost. Some men make a living helping others with their loss, but every night when closing time arrives, one unfinished page survives. I'm the man who writes goodbyes. I put the last words in a line. I help the broken close the door and leave their pain behind. I'm the man who writes goodbyes, but here's the cruel design. I can write an ending for the world, but not for what's still mine. Maybe every goodbye needs two souls, one to leave and one to stay. Maybe that's the reason mine never found a way. To write the final line and leave yesterday behind. The lamp burns low, the bass walks slow, the last blank page waits, and so do I. They say I got everything a man could own, a penthouse view and a heart of stone, the finest suit, the perfect smile. Been fooling the whole world for quite a while. I shake the hands, I close the deals, but nobody asks how silence feels. The city's cheering when I walk in, while something inside won't let me win. Every trophy gathers dust, every kingdom turns to rust. I'm the man who never lost, that's what everybody sees. But every victory comes with ghosts following behind me. I'm the man who never lost, still paying every cost. And somewhere along the way, I became what I bought. There's an old blues club on 7th Street where nobody cares who's elite. I sit alone near the back wall light, watching strangers live their lives. A young man sings with a broken voice, like pain was never a choice. And for a moment I envy him, at least his wounds still let him feel. The room gets dark and the guitar cries. Truth sounds different after midnight. I'm the man who never lost, that's what everybody sees. But every victory comes with ghosts following behind me. I'm the man who never lost, still paying every cost. And somewhere along the way, I became what I bought. Maybe the richest man in town is the one who still feels pain. Maybe all these gold-plated chains are just prettier forms of rain. Say, but the mirror tells a different story. Every single day, the band plays low, the city keeps talking, and the man who never lost is still searching for something. Monte Carlo shadows, golden chips scattered like rain. The last few gamblers talking quietly, trying hard to hide the pain. I sat alone beside the roulette, tailored black from head to toe. Dealer asked me, double or nothing. I said, brother, I already lost long ago. Then she walked in through the silence, white diamonds, crimson lips, like a fallen angel gambling with apocalypse on her fingertips. And the bass kept moving slowly, like tires on a midnight road, while the whole room watched us dancing like two beautiful ghosts. Baby, you made heartbreak look expensive. Champagne kisses with a dangerous intention, and every low guitar cry tonight feels like velvet on a gun. Now I'm the king of the empty casino after everybody's gone. Sinatra on the speakers, soft and haunted through the room. Waitresses in black silk dresses floating slowly through perfume. You placed your hand upon my shoulder, cold as money, smooth as sin, and whispered, men like you keep losing, 'cause you still believe love can win. Lord, that line hit harder than whiskey, straight against the soul, like watching all your best years disappear across the smoke. Outside the ocean thunder, against the marble shore, inside your heels kept echoing across that empty floor. You made loneliness look royal, slow dancing underneath the chandeliers and spoil. And every deep guitar moan tonight still cuts beneath my skin. Now the cards, the cash, the diamonds mean nothing without you and them. Turns out money can't protect you from certain memories. And you smiled like a woman, already planning her escape, leaving lipstick on the whiskey glass, like art nobody could replace. Baby, you made heartbreak sound romantic, like jazz and danger, mixed with tragic habits. And every final guitar cry tonight still haunts these velvet walls, while I rule this empty casino with nothing left at all. King of the empty There's a black tie hanging low on the back of my old oak chair. Half a glass of midnight bourbon and your perfume in the air. Street lights melt through rainy windows like ghosts across the floor. I still hear your silver footsteps walking out that private door. I don't chase what's already fading. I don't beg the night to stay. But every shadow in this room now still carries your name. Slow smoke rising, clock keeps talking to itself. And this lonely little jazz club feels like heaven dressed in hell. Baby, love left fingerprints on my soul. Dark red wine on velvet roses, too deep to let go. And every low guitar cry cut straight through my skin. You left me with the silence, and the blues moved in. There's a gambler near the corner, playing cards with tired eyes. Bartender keeps on polishing the same glass all night. Everybody here is hiding from something they can't name. But I wear my scars like cufflinks, elegant with pain. Your cigarette's still burning in the silver ashtray light, like a tiny dying moonbeam fighting through the night. Low voices fading like secrets in the dark, and that old neon sign outside still flickers through my heart. Love left fingerprints on my soul. Dark red wine on velvet roses, too deep to let go. Every slow guitar moan sounds like your goodbye. Now the room keeps breathing while the whiskey runs dry. Just a gentleman drowning slowly without making a sound. And if you ever think about me past 2 in the morning rain, know I'm still wearing black velvet and dancing with the pain. same. Velvet smoke, midnight gentleman blues. Everybody's selling something tonight, a better story, a better life. Polished smiles under chandelier gold, young men pretending they're already old. The room was loud with expensive lies, champagne dreams and borrowed ties. I took a seat near the edge of the bar, watching people become who they aren't. The band played low, like it had seen this all before. Funny how truth gets quieter, the richer the room becomes. I'm the last honest man in the room, or maybe that's a lie, but at least I don't paint silver wings on things that cannot fly. The last honest man in the room, with nothing left to prove. In a world addicted to performance, sometimes honesty is the move. A businessman rehearsed his victory speech, a social queen preached what she couldn't teach. A rising star talked about being free while checking who was watching him speak. Everybody chasing a brighter name, everybody playing a different game. And maybe I'm guilty of it too, but tonight I can see right through the smoke, the mirrors, the costumes, the show. The guitar cried one long blue note, like it already knew. I'm the last honest man in the room, or maybe that's a lie, but at least I don't paint silver wings on things that cannot fly. The last honest man in the room, with nothing left to prove. In a world addicted to performance, sometimes honesty is the move. Maybe success is a beautiful mask, maybe fame is a well-tailored suit. Maybe the strongest thing a man can do is tell the truth when the truth isn't cute. their razor glass to the few who still choose substance over applause that never lasts. The lights grow dim, the crowd keeps talking, the bass keeps walking, and somewhere beneath the noise, the truth survives. Came down like it knew my name. Street lights flickered through the window pane. I stepped inside where the shadows meet, and the bass rolled low beneath my feet. A man in a corner stared at his glass like he was watching 20 years go past. A woman in diamonds laughed too loud, trying to disappear inside the crowd. And the band kept playing soft and slow, like they already knew. Everybody wears a smile tonight, but nobody tells the truth. Everybody here is hiding something behind their eyes, behind their pride. A broken dream, a secret flame, a place that never let us find. Everybody here is hiding something. That's why the blues sound so damn good. 'Cause when the lights get low enough, we stop pretending that we're understood. The guitar cried like a midnight train, dragging old memories through the rain. I caught my reflection in the barroom glass, looking like a stranger from another past. A couple danced without a word, like silence was the only language they learned. And for a moment I could almost see we're all just ghosts with expensive shoes, trying to outrun what we can't lose. The room got quieter than before, the truth was getting close. Everybody here is hiding something behind their eyes, behind their pride. A broken dream, a secret flame, a place that never let us find. Everybody here is hiding something. That's why the blues sound so damn good. 'Cause when the lights get low enough, we stop pretending that we're understood. Maybe that's why we keep coming back to these velvet rooms and whiskey tracks. Not to forget, not to escape, but to sit beside our mistakes.
full of storms behind his eyes. Everybody here is hiding something, and tonight I finally understood the reason the blues survives forever is because it tells the truth. The drummer lets the final snare ring. The bass walks slowly into the dark. The guitar holds one last note, and nobody moves, because everybody knows